already know. You need to go to the library. You need to do research. Folks, it's a humbling thing. Humbling thing for a 50-plus-year-old man sitting in the library at night with 20-year-olds. But I did it. And on May the 18th, 2013, I graduated from the California Graduate School of Theology with a doctorate. And not only did I graduate that day, I gave a commencement address at my own graduation. And let me tell y'all something. I gave myself a good talking to. I'm encouraging you. Some of you have been talking about going back to school. Some of you have been thinking about it, but you talked yourself out of it because you said, I'm too old. No, you're not too old. Some of you have been thinking about doing things that grow you. I'm encouraging you to go. See, it's called the 1% solution. The 1% solution is to make a commitment that whatever you do in life, every day you get 1% better. Just a little bit better. You don't have to have this wholesale change tomorrow you're a super person. No, just a little better today than you were yesterday. And a little better tomorrow than you were today. What difference does it make? Well, in the Kentucky Derby coming up this weekend, there are going to be horses running. And one past Kentucky Derby, one horse beat another horse by a nose. But that one who was just a little better than the competition got 10 times more in purse than the number 2 horse. Just be a little better consistently, and it will have a great impact on your career. Keep being better. Your grandma used to say it like this: good, better, best. Never let it rest. To good is better, and better is best. Then your grandmama take you out. Yeah. So you got to get better. How many would agree or disagree? In order to be a better organization, we need to be better tomorrow than we are today. How many would agree with that? Now, who is Homeland Security? Yes. So if we going to be a better organization, it takes each one of us, getting a little better. And one of the ways to get better is you must make a commitment to grow while you go. How many of you commute to work? How many feel like you live there? Now, the average commute in America is 30 minutes one way. That's the average. Some do 10 minutes, some an hour, some 2 hours. But the average, the medium, is 30 minutes one way. Now, if you use that 30 minutes for personal development, for growing yourself, it can have a profound impact on you. See, 30 minutes to work, 30 minutes home, that's an hour. Statistics show that the average person who's 30 minutes one way and 30 minutes home, over 40 years is in their commute, in their car, 7 years out of their life. If you use that time for personal development, you could become a nuclear physicist. I'm encouraging you to grow while you go. Listen to audiobooks. There's so many things you can do. I got a new podcast. All my XM shows are now on podcasts. You can get them on podcast, the Willie, Jolley, Wealthy Ways podcast. Listen to them. They'll grow you. One man said he started his business and doubled his income in the first year listening to the podcast. Just grow yourself. Just develop yourself. And then I'm encouraging you to read books. I got a thing about books. I'm encouraging people to read. The average person will never read another self-help book after their last year of formal education. That's why I want you to read. Read one book a month. Just one book a month for the rest of your life. In 1 year, you got 12 books. In 5 years, you got 60 books. You'll be head and shoulders above your competition. Take out your phone. Take a picture of this page. These are books every library should have. I'm guaranteeing you. These are books that create success across many decades. The Power of Positive Thinking by Norman Vincent Peale. Rich Dad, Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill. That's the book that the people gave me when I was at my lowest point. The Greatest Salesman in the World by Og Mandino, and The Millionaire Next Door by 2 doctors who wrote about the fact that they're millionaires who know how to manage their money. Not how much you make, it's how you manage it. So, let's see. First thing I'm going to do, I'm going to give everybody the book to change my life. The book that changed my life was Think and Grow Rich. So everybody go to williejolly.com. Oh, no, just go to wjspeaks.com/gift. wjspeaks.com/gift. If you go there, I will give you a free digital copy of the book that is the #1 selling book of all times next to the Bible. has made more millionaires, more success stories. The Think and Grow Rich. How do I give that away? I was one of the 53 thought leaders they chose from around the world to celebrate Napoleon Hill and the impact of that book. And as a result of that, I get to give it to my friends. Y'all is my friends now. So go get it. WillyWJSpeaks.com/gift. Okay? Now, these are really good books I highly recommend. Here's some really good books I highly recommend. Attitude of Excellence. An Attitude of Excellence. This is my latest book. Then the book my wife and I wrote together, Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last. We've been married for going on 34 years, haven't had an argument in over 30 years. Now someone asked on TV, you mean y'all never argued? I said, I didn't say that. I said we haven't had an argument in 30 years. Those first couple of years were like World War III. But we learned some principles from some wise teachers, some wise mentors, and it stopped the arguing. And we haven't had an argument in over 30 years. That doesn't mean we don't agree. We don't disagree. We disagree, we just don't argue. We've figured out the systems on how to not argue. Chicken Soup for the Soul. Stories of Faith. What do you do when life throws you the toughest moments? 2003, I lost my mother, my brother, and my father-in-law in 30 days. Overwhelmed with grief, but by the grace of God, I had an experience that gave me hope. It's in that book. It has changed so many people's lives when they lose loved ones. It only takes a minute to change your life. 1 minute motivational messages that will bless you, inspire you, uplift you. Turn setbacks into greenbacks. How many of y'all need some greenbacks? That book will help you get there. The people I interviewed on my XM show who went from being broke, busted, disgusted, become millionaires and billionaires. And then A Setback is a setup for a comeback, the #1 selling setback comeback book in America. So, before I go any further, I'm going to bless some folks. I want to be a blessing to y'all because y'all been a blessing to me. So, first I'll start with the marriage book. Anybody got an anniversary today or this week around this time? You do? When your anniversary? 29th? That was here, this for you, all right? How long you been married?
6 years.
Oh, you need this. All right, I'll sign it at the table afterwards, okay? You and your husband read it together, okay? It will bless y'all. Now, let's see. Who got a birthday? A birthday around this time of the year? This right around here. Yes, ma'am. Well, I always say who got a birthday. Everybody got a birthday. I know that. But this time of the year. Yes, ma'am. When's your birthday? April 26th. You get It Only Takes a Minute, Change Your Life. How you like that? Any other birthdays? You got a birthday? When's your birthday?
Yesterday.
Ooh, yesterday. You get an original version of Attitude of Excellence. Don't let nobody have that. That's a collector's item now. Who else got a birthday? So, what was your birthday? April 27th. All right. You get to turn setbacks into greenbacks. All right. When who? May when? May 23rd. That's like a month away. Okay, it's this month. You convinced me. All right. Now, who got a teenager at home who think they know more than you? How old?
17.
Oh, Lord, yes, you need this. My youth video, my PBS special for young people, okay? All right. Watch. Now, here's what you got to do. Listen carefully what you got to do. Go home tonight and say, I heard this speaker. I thought he was awesome, but I want your opinion. Stroke his or her. Is a guy a boy? Oh, God, yes. All right. And say, I want your opinion. Tell me what you think of it. Because otherwise, if you tell him, you go home and say, you need this, he won't watch it. Right? But if you say, I want your opinion, stroke his ego, he'll watch it. He'll watch it, things will change. Let me tell you a story. I told another person, I was at the CIA, and I told the guy, he had the same story, 17-year-old. Oh, his was worse. He said, my son done dropped out of high school. He was hanging around with the wrong kids. He started smoking dope and doing all sorts of other stuff. He called everything that could be wrong. He talked about. He said he taking drugs. He's nasty. I said, okay. I said, do what I tell you. Go home and tell. He said, how long is it? I said, it's an hour. He said, oh, he's ADD too. He will never watch an hour program. I said, just do what I tell you. Just say, I want your opinion. Well, I came back to speak. I usually a lot of times in government agencies they'll bring me back a couple times a year because they want people to keep it going. They know motivation is like Chinese food. It wears off. In fact, motivation is like bathing. That's why you got to do it every day because it wears off. Anyway, I came back for the second interaction, and I couldn't get through the door before he came up and hugged me. He said, let me tell you what happened. I did what you told me. I said, I want your opinion. He watched the whole thing. Next day, he watched it again. Next day, he watched it again. Next day, he watched it again. About a week later, I called my wife one day in the afternoon, and I said, hey, let me talk to Junior. She said, Junior ain't here. Junior at work. What you mean Junior ain't work? Junior ain't got a job. She said, Junior went to the mall this morning, went store to store, knocked on doors till people would give him a job. He got a job. And not only that, he said, let me tell you, that was the first thing he did. He got a job. Second thing, he fired those negative friends who were in his life, got rid of them. Third thing he did, he went back to school with a new attitude. He's on the honor roll now. All right? Everybody repeat after me. Input determines output. Garbage in, garbage out. Good stuff in, good stuff out. So everybody didn't get one of the books. You're going to get the free book if you go digitally download it. But everybody who wants a bookmarker, come to the table afterwards, and I'll sign those books I gave away. And do you want me to tell them about the golden ticket now? Yeah, it's a good time. Lisa love y'all. She said there's a golden ticket under this seat. Under some seats, there's a golden ticket. And under that golden ticket will get you a copy of my brand new book, An Attitude of Excellence. There are 5 of them. So y'all better look for them. There's 5 golden tickets. All right, you got one, my man. He got a golden ticket. All right. All right, well, when you find your golden ticket, people looking now, they're looking at seats that ain't nobody sitting at. They're going to find them golden. You got one, all right. You get a car. I ain't giving y'all no cars. I ain't giving nobody cars. Gave you a book. But everybody, let me tell you what you do to it. Everybody, when this is over, come out to the table. I got some bookmarkers for everybody. I got my big bookmarker has 10 steps on the back to make this the best year of your life. And my other bookmarker is my marriage bookmarker to help you with your relationships. Because we wrote this book with one goal, to save 1 million marriages and enhance 1 million more, okay? So here, y'all can have one. Hey, have one of each, okay? All right. There you go. All right, look, I got what time we got? How we looking? We still got, we're good? We good? We good, all right. All right, so go get you some good books. I highly recommend. Wake up, show up, stand up, step up. Step up to the plate and swing for the fences. Figure of Hank Aaron, one of the greatest home run hitters of all time. Did you know he had twice as many strikeouts as he had home runs? But every time he stepped to the bat, he swung for the fences. He wasn't content with just getting on first base. He wanted to hit a home run. Most times, he missed. But he kept swinging for the fences. That's what I'm encouraging you to do. Swing for the fences when you do what you do at work. Understand that sometimes you'll miss. It's okay. Just keep swinging for excellence. Because when you hit it, you'll knock it out the park. And then make this tough decisions. You must make a tough decision to leave negative people alone. You hear me? And some of them are in your inner circle. People who you love, they love you too. They're not trying to be mean-spirited. They just negative. I remember when I was a teenager, I was playing in a band. I was playing my trumpet. My parents said to me, why aren't you singing? Sing at home, you sing at school, you sing at church. You should be singing. I said, really? They said, yeah. I went to band practice that night and said, guys, can I sing? And I started singing, and everybody said it sounded good except one guy who I thought was my best friend. He was the lead singer. He started laughing. The mob mentality took over. Everybody else started laughing. I felt about this big. I wanted to cry, but I couldn't let my boys see me cry. So I walked over in the corner and said, I'll never sing again as long as I live. I was humiliated. And for 3 years, I kept that vow. I didn't sing at home, at school, at church. I would not even sing at people's birthday parties when everybody sang happy birthday because I was ashamed. 3 years went by. One night I'm playing my trumpet in a nightclub. Band leader gets a note. Singer sick. Can't come. Somebody got to sing. He said, Willie, why don't you come sing? I said, no, I can't sing. He said, no, come on over and sing. I said, no, I can't sing. He said, I want you to sing. I said, no, I can't sing. He said, I think you can sing. Come on over. I want you to sing. I said, no, I ain't singing for you or nobody else. He said, who you getting an attitude with? He said, you going to sing tonight? I said, no, I'm not. He said, sing. No, sing. No. He said, you either sing or you fired. Feelings. At that point, it became an easy choice. I closed my eyes and sang as loud as I could, as strong as I could. And when I opened my eyes, people would stop dancing with just looking. And I sang and they clapped. And I sang and they clapped. End of the night, people lined up here, lined up there, lined up over here, asking I sang at their wedding, at the graduation, at the reception. Finally hit me like a ton of bricks. My friend had lied to me. But since that time, I've sung on Broadway, Carnegie Hall, Kennedy Center, Lincoln Center. Been around the world speaking and singing because I stopped listening to negative people. Don't listen to negative people. They will kill your dreams. No, don't listen to them. Make that decision. And if you're going to grow and really succeed, you got to understand the 3 C's for success. The 3 C's for success are change, challenge, and choices. It comes down to change, challenge, and choices. So you got to understand change happens. Challenge is going to happen, but it comes down to your choices. How many of you remember your first day going to high school? Anybody? Remember how big the halls were? Anybody ever visit your high school after you graduated? Remember how small the halls were? Halls didn't change, you did. Life is about change. And whenever there's change, there's going to be challenge. Quick. I'll show it to you real quick. Everybody cross your arms. Look at what arm is on top. Reverse the arms. All right, relax. Okay, why is that uncomfortable? Because you've been crossing your arms the same way since before you were born. Babies start crossing their arms in their mother's womb. Once they establish a pattern, they never do it again in a different way. We are creatures of habit. We tend to do what we've always done because that's the way we've always done it. Statistics show most of you who go to a restaurant the second time will get the exact same meal you got the first time. Most of you go to church, synagogue, worship center on the weekend will sit in the same area you sat in last week. And don't you dare let anybody sit in your seat. We are creatures of habit. We tend to do what we've always done. But my mama told me something when I was a little boy I've not forgotten. She said, Willie, if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting what you've been getting. And after I got enough spankings, I figured it out. I needed to change. But it was uncomfortable. We are creatures of habit, so you must be willing to change. Change happens whether we like it or not. It's going to happen. Change is inevitable. Now, it's going to happen. Your response to change is optional. And as change comes your way, it's optional. See, change is like a supersonic freight train coming down the track more rapidly every day. And because of technology, it's really coming quick. So what was the newest, hippest thing 6 months ago is now obsolete. That's technology. It's changing daily. So you've got an option of how you respond to change. You got 3 choices. Choice number 1, change come your way. Resist it. I'm not changing. This freight train coming down the road, I don't care. I'm not changing. Not a good choice. It'll run you over. Choice number 2, ignore it. I'm not going to get in that social media stuff. I'm just going to ignore it. It will pass you by. I recommend choice number 3, ride it. And if you're really wise, you'll drive it. Jack Welch, the former CEO of General Electric, said only those who drive change maximize their potential and possibilities. So I'm encouraging you to deal with change, to pursue change, embrace change, and drive change. And after that is team building. Team building. This is Coach Vince Lombardi. He was the first winner of the Super Bowl, and he was the coach of the Green Bay Packers. And you got a cheese head here? Who got a cheese? You a cheese head? All right now. I was up there in the old way yesterday. It's cold up there still. It's still cold. Anyway, Coach Lombardi said great teams do 3 things. They care for each other, they cover for each other, they encourage each other. Let me tell you something I know about everybody in this room. And I've met a few of you because you go to my same church. But most people in this room I've never met. But I know everybody in this room. I know you got 2 jobs. You got a job, you work for Homeland Security. And then you go home to a whole nother job. Some of you have senior parents. You're concerned about them all day long. Did they take their medication? Did they fall? Some of you have spouses, partners who might have been diagnosed with the illness. Some of you got teenagers who done lost their minds. I don't know which one it is, but everybody got something. And so that is why, if you're going to have a great team, here's what I encourage you to do. Know that everybody's going to have a day when they come to work where things ain't quite right at home. And that's not the day when you need somebody criticizing you. That's the day when you got somebody say, I know you're not quite up to it. I got you today. The great team say, I got you. I'll cover you. I'll cover you. I'll care for you. If you do that, let me tell you why. You do it today for somebody else, because one day it'll be your turn. Everybody gets a turn at tough days. So care for each other, cover for each other, and encourage each other. This is one of my favorite examples. This is Chicago Bulls during the time of Michael Jordan. Now, I've seen a lot of, I wasn't around when the Boston Celtics were running the board with basketball. I wasn't around, but I saw this team. Let's look at this. Let's deconstruct. We got Michael Jordan. Came out of the University of North Carolina, first-round draft choice, a scoring machine. He could score. He'd throw the ball in. He'd catch it. He'd run up the court. He'd shoot it. He'd miss, get the rebound, give himself an assist, and dunk it. Or he could score. But when he went back on defense, it was him basically against 5 other people, because they just passed it around and always outscore him, and they would win. For 7 seasons, he could not win a championship. Then they brought in Phil Jackson, who said, we got to think team, got to think team. Michael, if you think team, it will bless you and you'll benefit, because if the team wins, you will win. He convinced Michael Jordan to think team. Then he said, I'm going to bring a guy named Scottie Pippen who's versatile. So sometime, Michael, when you're coming down the court and they think you're going to go for the shot, give it to Scottie. I'm going to bring in another guy who's a three-point expert. He can shoot almost anywhere. Just sometimes he's fake it to Scottie, give it to the three-point guy. I'm going to bring in one other guy. He's a little weird. His name is Dennis Rodman. He's weird, but he can play defense, and he can rebound. Now, if Dennis does his job, and Scottie does his job, the three-point guy does his job, Michael, you do your job, I, the coach, does my job, the water boy does his job. If everybody does their job, we will win. And oh, did they win. They won 1 championship, 2 championships, 3 championships. Michael went off to play baseball. He came back, they won a 4th championship, 5th championship, and 6th championship. And by the time he retired from the Chicago Bulls, his income had gone from about $10 million a year to over $150 million a year. And here's the kicker. His income is still high because his tennis shoes still sell at the same rate as when he was playing, because he was a winner. Okay? So I'm encouraging you to win. Now, one more thing about Dennis Rodman. He was weird. But you never heard anything bad about him in the press between the players. Michael Jordan went to him when he was not performing well or when he was being disruptive. And he said, Dennis, we're trying to win here. I appreciate you. Let's win. And there's a lesson there for everybody in this room. Here's the lesson. Nothing destroys the fabric of an organization quicker than backbiting. I'm talking about people behind their back. And so if you've got an issue with somebody who's not performing, don't put it in the press. In other words, don't talk about them at the water cooler. You go to them. Say, we're trying to win here. I need you to up your game. And tell them, what can I do to be of help? And the last thing is, Michael Jordan said, I appreciate you, Dennis. Now let's go to win. You got to appreciate each other if you're going to win as a team. So that said, everybody read your right hand. Say I. Say your name. Promise. For the let's do it again, because some of y'all didn't say your name. You say your name. No, say your name. Well, say your name out your mouth. Your name. Okay, I say your name. Promise that I am going to change if I got anything difficult or challenging to say to my coworker. I'm going to say it to them. I'm not going to backbite. I'm not going to talk behind their back. I'm going to talk to them. And together, we will win. I promise. All right, y'all heard it now. I think about, all right, clap. That's all right. I'm going to give you two things about that. One is, here are the 4 steps to have 4 points to have a difficult conversation with a coworker, and they work for your significant other. The reason my wife and I don't argue is because we learned these 4 F's. Write these down. They work. First F, be friendly. Never start off hostile because people put up defense mechanisms. Be friendly. Then be frank. Tell them the truth. Not you did this or you did this, but rather this is how what you were doing is making me feel. When you have something with your spouse, you don't say, you tried to hurt me. Here's how that made me feel. No one can ever question your feelings. Be friendly, be frank, be fair. Ask, why did you do this? Or why are you doing this? And then you'll learn maybe they got some trouble at home. You don't know why. It's like the story in the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, about the guy who was on a metro train with his 7 children, and the 7 children were going crazy and acting out of their brain and hollering and scooping and screaming and running up and down. And a lady across said, why didn't that man take care of his children and get them to stop misbehaving? And she said, why are your children acting like this? And he said, what? Why are your children acting like that? He said, oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't notice they were acting that way. We just left the hospital. Their mother died this morning. Changes everything, doesn't it? Ask why. Friendly, frank, fair. Ask, and then focus on a positive ending. You do that, you have an impact. Now, I told you I made everybody say, make that promise. I was in Marriott Hotel. Speaking for Marriott, I was speaking for all the employees in Atlanta. We had to do a midday session because the morning people and the afternoon people all in one session. And so the next morning I was still there, and a lady in the breakfast area came over to me and said, I loved your message yesterday. I had to think about it a lot. Did you see that one over there? I promised I wouldn't say nothing about it, but it's so hard. It's so hard. Anyway, some of y'all gonna have them hard moments. Okay, we got a lot. Now, communication is critical. Communication. Great organizations, great groups, great agencies communicate with each other. They communicate. And here's the problem. We live in a world of massive communication devices. We got more devices than ever before. But communication, real, authentic communication is down. We got people all over the globe, but real communication is down. Why? Because people are concerned about speed. The tortoise and the hare comes into play. Fast is not always better. Because people will ask you, didn't you get it? Don't you get what I was trying to tell you? And the reason you don't get it is because we go focus on speed. And then we have silo mentalities. This silo doesn't talk to the next silo. And that silo doesn't talk to the next silo. No one talking to each other. That's why you got to talk. This is Washington Music Center. Washington Music Center is called Chuck Levin's Washington Music Center out in Wheaton, Maryland. I used to be in the music business. I'd go there, and here's something that always blew my mind. I'd walk in the door. I see one of the brothers. There's a family company. I'd say to him, hey, here's what I need. He said, okay, you go to the 3rd floor in the back. That's where you can get that. I go to the 3rd floor way in the back, and I get up there, and I see another one of his brothers who say, hey, I hear you're looking for such and such. I said, how do you know that? He said, my brother told me. And after a number of times that same thing happened, and one day I said, okay, stop. How did this work? And the brother said, oh, our dad told us, if you want to have a successful business, you got to talk to each other. So as soon as you told my brother at the front what you wanted, he called me and said, he's coming up getting so-and-so. He said, that's how we were taught to do business. That is the reason why they were burnt out in 1968 when there was a little mom and pop store on 8th Street Northeast and during the riots. They went out to Wheaton. They started this store. It is now the largest music store in the world, right here in Maryland, because the brothers understand about what their father taught them. Talk to each other. Talk to each other. Make a commitment to talk to each other. Don't holler at each other. Don't be mean to each other. Talk to each other. Don't be scared. Talk to each other. Don't panic. I got a better idea. Just talk. Pick up the phone. When you got an issue or idea, go to their office. Talk to them. Tell them, hey, I got to talk to you about something. Only going to take a second. Leave them a voicemail. It makes a difference that when you talk to somebody versus sending them an email. Because if you do, you'll stand on the top of the world. See, some stuff cannot be communicated via text or email. At our church, First Baptist Church of Glenarden, my wife and I, before my schedule just got really, really busy, we used to teach a course on communication. And we would teach this little piece about inflection and the impact your words have that you can't get from text or email or written communication. We would give these same words and different emphasis on each word. I didn't say you stole that car. 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 I didn't say you stole that. I didn't say you stole that car. Notice that each time I changed the whole meaning of the sentence, didn't I? By changing. You can't do that in email. You can't do that by text. That's why sometimes you just need to pick up the phone, leave them a voicemail, call them, somehow get a conference to them. Okay? The other thing is if you're going to have a great organization, learn to apologize. You're going to have a great marriage, learn to apologize and do it quick. People are offended, somebody's feelings are hurt, apologize. Even if you had nothing to do with the offense. Some people are going to come here and say, DHS, Department of Homeland Security. Somebody touched me wrong at TSA. Were y'all there? No, but here's what you do. Say, I'm so sorry. Because see, when you apologize, you take the stinger out of the sting. Just apologize. Do it quickly. And never put anything negative in email. Because it lives on. Am I right about it? And then LQC, if you want to have a great communications organization, L is for listen. Q is for question. And C is for clarify. Listen. My wife and I, we have to do this all the time. That's why another reason we don't argue. Listen, question, clarify. Did you mean, oh, you didn't mean that. You meant, oh, I get it now. Okay, got it. Clarify. Listen, question, clarify. Wake up, show up, stand up, step up, and then think up. Make up your mind to win. How many of you want to win? Everybody say they want to win, and they most kind of do want to win. The problem is we've all been conditioned that to want to win all the time is selfish. How do I know? Finish this thought for me. You can't have your cake in. Why not? Because your mama told you. Her mama told her. Why can't you take a picture of the cake? Why can't you freeze a piece of cake? Why can't you make another cake? How about this one? You win some, you. Why? Because your mama told you that. I want you to win all the time. Now, how do you win all the time? Well, this is me and Dr. Stephen Covey in Australia, in Sydney, Australia. He wrote the book, The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. He said, if you want to be highly effective, you got to get a win-win mindset. Try and help others to win. And if you help others to win more, you're going to win.